was enjoyable last night. But I think it was a typical first game of a series, but especially a Stanley Cup Final series, where a couple of leaky goals.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, Vasi made some great saves, but he let too many that snuck through him. But that's the kind of pace that Tampa Bay's going to have to get used to. That's the pace that I've seen with Colorado now for about 3 years, and it is high octane, giddy up and go. Several times they had their defensemen again, below the goal line in the offensive zone, just hunkering around. So yeah, it's going to be a heck of a series for sure. If game one's any indication.
Despite the first 2 goals, you got to think that Vasilevsky wants those back so badly because they leaked through.
We want everyone back, John.
But to me, like the overtime winner, Darren, and because we can get into the intricacies of the game a little later, to me, the overtime goal was a classic case of making sure you move the goaltender left to right. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're absolutely correct. Anytime you can get a goaltender out on top of his crease and just get him moving a little bit, even I think if Vasi officially is he 6'3.5", but he seems longer than that, doesn't he? His legs, that legs seem like he's a 6'6" goaltender. So to get him off just a little bit is a good goal, a good accomplishment. I think that's why a lot of goalies struggle against Colorado, fellas, because they get you out, then they get you moving, then you lose your net a little bit, and then you lose a little bit of your poise, and next thing you know, the puck's underneath you or through you or off to the one side. So it's a real game of patience and positioning when you're playing against Colorado.
What'd you make of Braden Point last night?
Not bad. He played.
Yeah. Had first game in 31 days.
That was amazing in itself that he was actually out there, and right away didn't have a power play right away. And there he was, right in the bumper, right in that middle. He's so good at that. He makes it very unpredictable. And I thought to begin the game, I thought Kucherov was giving pucks away like they were free Bud Lights at O.B. Clark's in St. Louis. But he just kept firing them to hopeful, wishful plays that just didn't work. And then next thing you know, he makes that one pass and it's a tip in and it's in the net. But I thought he was loose. I think he's got to tighten up his game a little bit too to help out Braden Point, especially when Braden's going to be in that position there.
Kucherov is the one guy. In so many ways, he's the barometer of this team. When you think about if he's focused, they're at another level. Early on in the Toronto series, and Bob talked about this on the podcast when the Leafs were playing the Lightning, Kucherov wasn't focused. There was a couple of days we know he had the flu, but he wasn't focused. Same thing in the Rangers series, not focused for a couple of games. Rangers win. All of a sudden, if Kucherov turns that switch on, it changes the dimension and personality of that hockey team.
Yep, I agree with that. There's I'm not going to throw a couple of players in that same vein, but there was many times where I would watch Sergei Fedorov or Alexander Mogilny, and they'd be the same way. They didn't look like they were very intense. Then bang, they dial it up for a couple of shifts that turns the momentum of the game. And Kucherov's got a little bit of that. Like he's got a little bit of kind of looks like a box lacrosse player out there. He just he's got the puck on a stick, and then he just kind of looks one way and slings it the other way, and he tries always the unexpected, and sometimes it looks just brilliant, and sometimes it looks kind of careless and sloppy. But I think when he dials it in and his attention to detail is good, then he's one of the best forwards in the National Hockey League. And I think again though, that altitude. How do they? Is it the first game in altitude, or is it the second game that affects you most? I think it's the second game that affects you more than the first game.
I've been told the second game. It's supposed to take up to 5 days.
Yeah,
for people to compensate.
I know the golf ball just goes out there. I mean, it is going, and it's at least one club.